Okay, so this is going to be a different one. I don't know if this is going to be classed as an anti-CV tactics, but there's a gentleman in chat that was complaining about, you know, ranked games, bronze being rough. So we're going to look at a bronze game and see if we can kind of decipher a better path to victory. Although maybe he won this one, I don't know. Alright, so it's a Hatsuharu. There's a ranger and there's a sub. Triple battleship, so... Hatsuharu, concealment 92, Gaide, something. Is he gonna tell me? I guess not. Give me the stats. It's like, no. No stats for you. Whatever. 5.8. 5.8's not bad. A lot of the German DD is going to be around 6.1. Okay.
Good luck and fair seas.
Anyway, while that's going, I will mark this as having been looked at.
Provide anti-aircraft fire support.
What? Why are you bugging the CV? Why are you bugging the CV? What's that for? Provide anti-aircraft fire support. What's that for? Why are you doing that? I demand answers, Andromar. We are not continuing this replay until you give that. You ask him for cover. Sure. Why? What are you asking him from cover from? What on this map is currently threatening you? Do you know if free cameras work for replays? Yes. So, let me see if I can find you this. Lord Zath replay controls? I think it's this. This is an updated replay control video. So check that out, Pink Sones. Because they usually don't. Alright, Andromir. Andromir. I want you to do this. Alright, so right now, it's the beginning of the match. There's no enemies that are on the board. And the CV starts telling you to torp the A-line. Torp the A-line! Send torps to the A-line! There could be enemies over there. You gonna do it? You gonna turn your DD around, go over here and start throwing torps at A6? Just to make sure that there's no subs, there's no bad guys that are gonna sneak up on that Serov and they're gonna kill him. I mean, you gotta protect that shit. What if, you know, what if this is a Pac-Man game? What if they can waka 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 waka, you know, all of a sudden, oh, bam, they're on top of the CV and they're dead. The answer is, there's nothing there, man. Realistically, you are against a DD that can detect you, a destroyer that can detect you, a cruiser that you're probably not going to get detected by, but maybe, depending on the situation. Some battleships you're not going to get detected by, because they're battleships, you can outrun them. A sub you might, and a CV you might. So realistically, if the CV is going to be detecting you, you have a 2.5 kilometer aerial detection. You have smoke. Now let's think about this. The Ranger has bombs, torps, and rockets. Unlikely you're going to die to torps because you can just turn. You'll see them coming. Bombs could be a problem. We can talk about how to dodge bomb drops if we have to. And then rockets, we can talk about how to dodge rockets, but you'll see when they come in, you'll see the rocket planes are coming to attack you. You'll see the machine guns and stuff, and you can just turn. You can juke. You do it early so they have time to listen, but I get your drift. Just please understand. Granted, I don't know who your CV player is. I don't care. But provide anti-aircraft fire support makes it sound like you're a DD that's just, when you see planes, you are immediately going to soil yourself. Those are planes over there! Son of a bitch! And it's like, oh dear God, not another one. So please, don't be that DD. Don't be that guy. He was nice and spotted. What else do you think he's gonna do? He's going over here to find the enemy. It doesn't matter if you say provide anti-aircraft fire support for that. What do you think, he's just gonna spin in a circle for a while? Come on. You're not going up to the A-line, nor is he. If I ever do a commander voice, though, I definitely have to do fire support or whatever. Use my little voice line. This is like, haha. Okay, so let's look at what's going on here. And we're almost 2 minutes into the match. Unfortunately, the Serov is a new player. You can already see that because the Serov is not going to where the enemies are. The Serov is going off in some weird direction. I don't know. There's nothing over here, dude. They spawn in this area. So that's not going to work out for you, but that's okay. But let's look at something else. What support do you have when you're going into C? Let's pretend, rawr, that you're going to go into C and you're going to trip across the Gaide and you guys are going to be there and, oh, dude, you're just fighting. Brrr, you're shooting at each other or whatever. Who on your side is going to help you? You're going to have a Bayern that's going to make a 5, 10, 15, 20 kilometer, you know, whatever shot. That's probably not. This is what, 6? If that's 6 kilometers, 12, 15 to 18 kilometer shot on a DD. A Doria, which the Italian battleships have awful accuracy, and their sap shells do not allow them to pen DDs. It's always an overpen. So these likely can't shoot. They can't help you. So what happens if there's a DD down here and the Huang He is down here? Well, then you have a destroyer shooting at you and a cruiser shooting at you and potentially a CV that's going to be coming on over to work on you as well. So always look at your situation. You know, what is your backup? Where are your friends? If you're sitting on a street corner and you've got 3 people with you and somebody wants to walk up making trouble, that person is walking up making trouble against 3 people on a street corner. If there's 4 people walking up on a dude that's alone on a street corner, the dude that's alone might want to kind of check the situation and feel out whether they need to get the fuck out of there. Because sure, right now it looks like you really don't have any support. You are very isolated in case the CV does come over to sit on top of you. And I will let you know at tier 6, if the Serov drops you a fighter, it kills 3 planes. But the Ranger comes out with 8 rocket planes. The Ranger comes out with, is it 9 bombs? I think it's 9 bombs and potentially 8 torpedoes. So if you chisel 3 of those, you're still left with 5 or 6 planes that are going to sit on top of your face, lighting you for whatever wants to shoot you. It's going to force you to smoke. So you really want to look at 1, do I have support? And 2, what is my way out? Secondly, when you're going into C, right now your bow is toward it. Okay, this is fine. But you don't have support. You need to have already started to make your turn to point your bow away. Now, you've got a rock right here you could potentially use as a get the hell out button, but you needed to kind of like start reversing here and then start backing into the cap. Because you don't know what's over there. You're not sure what you're walking into. You have to play safe, and you always, always, always have to leave yourself an out. Okay.
Much obliged, Commander.
Cool. So there's a Gaide. We haven't seen the, Okay. Here's your detection. Your detection is 5.8. Gaide is 6.2. You're about to trip across each other. The CV, which is not spotting this at the moment. I guess his AA is on. That's the only reason why the Gaide would be spotted. Unless he's not running concealment modules, but you didn't spot him, so I don't know about that. Probably has his AA on. He's going to trip across this. This is going to go into a gunfight. You still don't know where the Huang He is. The Huang He could be here. He could be on this inside of the island, and then suddenly you've got a cruiser as well as a DD on top of you. And again, you have no assistance in terms of AA at all. So if the CV wants to start hell camping you, you cannot run. You are stuck in a smoke cloud while a Gaide with Hydro can come over, Hydra you, and light you for all the people that want to take shots at you. This is a very, very dangerous position to be in. We talked earlier about, you know, the concept of a safe and a contested cap. With this cap layout, all of them are contested caps. So before you can definitively say, this cap is mine, you have to have the positional advantage to be able to claim the cap, not simply have snuck into it, grabbed the cap, and ran away. I mean, it's nice if you can sneak it for free, it is, but realistically, you're going to be in the middle of capping, this dude's just going to come in too. So just this right now is a super sus situation. Alright, so you are...
Generator started.
Alright, so you engaged. You got a single hit. Gaide turned off.
Smoke screen set. Torpedoes dead ahead.
Juking torps.
Enemy submarine in
Don't-
sight.
All stations.
Okay.
Concentrate
You're not shooting,
fire on the
which is
target.
cool. So the Gaide doesn't have concealment expert because you're able to light him. Realistically, you wanted to stay... So what happened when you went into smoke? You stopped spotting the Gaide. Nothing useful. Nobody was seeing you. You weren't detected. You're reducing the information that you're providing to your team. I understand smoke is more safe, but you're not doing anything with the smoke. So right now you could be trying to maybe pop shots over an island at a Bayern if you could maybe happen to lead that. But congratulations, you got C. You bullied the Gaide off. Now there's going to be a destroyer over here, or a sub that's over here, a destroyer in mid, a Huanghei that's supporting these, and you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do. Odds are, at this point, you either look like, I'm going to YOLO the Bayern because it's completely isolated. That's a possibility. Or you need to start looking at getting back into the center so you can start to frontline for your team again. And remember, there's frontline, midline, backline. If your team doesn't have a frontline, they tend to panic. They tend to turn around and run away when they don't know what's going on. It's not often that you'll see a battleship just be like, fuck it, and just charge a or charge a destroyer, charge a sub, and be like, I'm fine. You have to be there in the front to hold the torch, to hold the lantern, to light the way. And if you die, then suddenly that all changes. So you got two options. One is you YOLO the Bayern, which is a very greedy move, but it could potentially be a big one if the Bayern misplays. If he just charges this island for some reason. Although realistically, with no destroyer, he might end up starting to turn out and chuck shells long range, maybe trying to pull fire. And I think you should start to rotate in toward the mid so that you can have a more central presence and figure stuff out. But your smoke is down, and there is a Huanghei that could theoretically take shots at you if the Gaide tries to force the situation, because right now you do not have a smoke for 2 minutes.
We've spotted an enemy submarine.
Gaide doesn't care about you. He's not rushing the smoke. And now you don't have torps for the Bayern. And you are going in the direction of the Bayern. Okay, so let's examine something else.
Boost activated.
Frontline, midline, backline. You have a backline. Does the backline have a way in? No. Where's the DD here that allows them to go forward? Because you're between them and an enemy destroyer. You're not there. So where are they going? They're going the long route. They're going the safe way. They're going away from the action. Granted, they're going toward a Bayern, but it's 2v1. That's two of your battleships potentially making moves on one of theirs, which means they have more people killing your friends over here than you have trying to do something back. You flooded your torps, which unfortunately I think maybe that was a hasty decision. I mean, it'd be great if it happens to hit the Gaide, but it's extremely unlikely that you're going to happen to hit something that far away just because, sure. And secondly, look at what's going on here. The Issei is running. The Serov is in a blocked position, which is nice, but the sub doesn't have any information to go in on, except for maybe the Serov will briefly light. What is this? What is your cruiser? An Aoba is wounded and has to hide. He can't take any fights. If you were over here, you could try to smoke the Aoba. You could spot for the Aoba to give some information as to what's going on. And you can block them pushing. Because right now, with an Aoba behind an island, a sub behind an island, and an Issei just running, they could force this. They could force this fight. Isolate two of your ships, kill them, and then start to wrap around and kill everything else. Drive off the Issei, end up surrounding the Serov, while you and two battleships are stuck on the other side of the map, unable to do anything. If you are in a destroyer, especially if you are the only destroyer on the team, you are the front line. You are the magic man. Unfortunately, with the double battleship heading over here, but it's not uncommon for people to follow the DD. And they did. But that means that they don't have a front line over here because the sub cannot frontline alone. He could just be run down, so he has to have people behind him. The Aoba is not set up in a position to be able to kite or mitigate damage, and has already taken a lot of it, and the Issei is just not going to be able to stop it either. So this is a tough situation. Okay. The Bayern has continued moving in the time since you saw him last. This Bayern is probably here, which means as you come around this corner, you may actually be lit by a Bayern while your torps are still down by 40 seconds and you do not have smoke. This is giving health. This is giving your health to the enemy for free because he's going to take a shot at the first thing he sees. So as you come across this corner, because you're not going to YOLO him, you're going to reposition. two problems with this. One, you're repositioning further away from your team, which means you cannot provide them assistance. And two, you're not in a position to make a play with this either. Like, this is looking pretty sus. You do not get detected, which is nice. 30 seconds on Torps. Looks like you want to wait for it. He's going to push you, though. So you really just have to... Alright, so you're trying to kite it out, sorta. If you were going to go for the YOLO, you go for the YOLO here. You wait for the Bayern to move up. If he's going to get all aggressive, he's going to get all aggressive to this point, and then you just dash out, try to YOLO him without dying. But again, killing the Bayern is nice, but there's still all of this. You still down 2 cap points. You still have an Aoba that might get isolated. You have other stuff that's going to get driven off the map. This is still an extremely scary point for y'all. Might work out. You don't have smoke. You just told him where you are. Now you're taking shots at 6 kilometers away.
Enemy destroyer sighted.
You might get that, though. Cool. Alright, so the gate is up. And, as we noted before, the battleships are heading this way. Why? Because there's not a destroyer in front of them. So where is the enemy destroyer? Potentially charging these dudes, doing exactly what you did to the Bayern, flooding Torps in their direction. So the lack of a destroyer here meant that these 2 battleships are completely basically out of the fight for the past 2 minutes while you were lining up a torpedo shot. Understand that your choices are going to influence your entire team, especially if you're in an influence class like a DD. So having this Doria be out of the fight, unable to hit anything that's on the map for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, you have a Bayern that's going to start turning in, so he'll probably be relevant in about a minute and a half. And you might take a fight with the Gaide, but remember, if you do, the good news is Sub's over here, Huang's over there, Fuso's over there, Mutsu might take a shot. It's going to come down to a gun battle between you and him, and at this point, you might actually win that. Because this is going to be a solo fight, which is nice. And maybe the Bayern actually gets some shells into him. So if you can force a fight on the Gaide, that could actually go your way, which if you can open up the center, you might be able to take B after.
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
Ranger might jump on top of you. You should be firing. You should be firing right now. You should be shooting him. Okay, so real quick. I wish we could go back. All right.
Smoke generator started.
I use something called Nomogram Stiv. Nomogram is a mod, which, let me see if I can actually get you that real quick. What the hell? No. Go away. There we go. Mods. This. What mods do I run? This is a video for mods. There's something called Nomogram Stiv, which is a dynamic site. So if we see here, the Gaide runs at 36 knots. These bottom numbers are 20 knot lead. Top numbers are 30 knot leads. 3.1 seconds, that's right here for a 30 knot, which means at 36 knots, it's going to be out here somewhere. So when you take this shot, you are aiming for the rear of the ship. You need to lead a little more. And if you're not sure about how far you need to be leading, try looking into a dynamic site that's going to give you better concepts of where this are. Because the dynamic site is actually, these numbers are going to move to be able to represent this number more correctly to help you take the shots. Now, here you are, you're smoking. Why are you smoking? Well, because I'm in a DD and my health is really important and I don't want to die. When you smoke, he disappears. Now, the CV might be on top of him, which would be cool, but when you smoke, you are disengaging from the fight, which means you're letting him walk away from a situation that you probably have the better chance in. German destroyers want to use AP, so as long as you're angled fairly aggressively, they can't use AP, they have to use HE. Your HE does more damage than theirs does. Yours does 2150, theirs does 1500. So every shell you land matters more than every shell they land. And because you know, see, in the beginning of this match, we didn't know where the Huang He was. We didn't know where the assistance was. That's why you play safe. Now, you know exactly where all the bad guys are. And this dude, his dick is flapping in the wind, waiting for you to chop it off. You go after this, you kill this, you charge this, you make it dead. You're smoking, you shouldn't be smoking, he should be smoking, because his ass is on the line and he will die if he does not get out. So you should be forcing this fight, not playing safe.
All stations, proceed to capture that area.
Because what did you do? You dropped a smoke and now you left it. What use was the smoke? What did it do for you? It might have saved you like 1,000 health, 1,500 health, but the enemy got away. You can't continue the engagement because he's now behind the rock or whatever, which I guess he probably would have been regardless, but still, like, you had your window to make magic happen and you played safe in it. Don't be afraid to be bullish in a destroyer when you know you have the win, when you know you have the advantaged situation. But let's take a little update on what's going on. What happened to the Issei? He got run down. He tried to run, he died. What happened to the Aoba? He got wrapped on a flank that had no DD to brace against the push. Because people get scared to push into torpedoes. Well, there was no DD there, so they just YOLO'd right through. Aoba's dead. The sub got isolated and run down. The sub is dead. You've already lost 3 players on this flank, so that you could get 1 cap and kill a Bayern. Now maybe this Bayern is going to take the Ranger, so maybe that'll help you even it up a little bit, but right now, they have a lot of assets. They have more assets than you do. You've got 3 dead, they've got 1 dead. So, when you took C, maybe if you pulled back toward the center, where the Gaide was, you might have a little skirmish with the Gaide, but if you're able to pull back, you stop them from being able to push through. You start giving a little love to the Issei, you give some smoke to the Aoba, you try to somehow stabilize this flank as opposed to going for a battleship kill. Which, I'm glad you got the battleship kill, but you killed 1 ship, you lost 3.
All stations, requesting fire on the designated target.
And pretty soon, these dudes are just going to YOLO the Serov, so Serov is actually pretty zippy and needs to get the fuck out. So your battleships murdered the Ranger, that's just dead. You could throw torps at him, I guess, if you wanted to, but he's dead. Alright, so there's a Mutsu. Oh, having your AA on was pretty sus. Alright, so you immediately popped smoke because, oh my god, my AA just lit me, but then again, you were really close to being lit anyway. Looks like the sub was briefly spotted as well, so that's some good information. At this point, you don't kill all this. So you get a little surprised. You get a little surprised by the Huang He.
Torpedoes, direct front. Torpedoes to starboard.
Okay, and down from a sub. So I think you might have been looking for the Mutsu, and I guess potentially to contest the cap. Okay, I could see the play on the Mutsu. I get you there. The Huang He. Oh shit! The sub. Oh shit! That's gonna be a big. That's an oh crap moment. That's oh my god. When you smoked, you don't stop in the smoke in that situation. You turn and you run. Because the Huang He is gonna have Hydro, and the U-69 does not have Hydro, but it does have Hydrophone, which means it might be able to ping you while you're in smoke, in which case it will be able to latch onto your position, update your position on the minimap, although it won't see you, and be able to throw torps at you. So in which case, oh, my A is on, crap, you smoke, you turn out, you get distance, and then you try to work from there. Maybe torping the Mutsu or whatever, but at least you have some battleships you can try to support. Rule number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in a DD, don't die. And unfortunately, you just violated that rule. So, Serov is dead. Mutsu gets hurt, which is nice. Huang He might get pincered. Cool, so gets pinched, sub takes the battleship. Huang He took the battleship, actually. Sub takes C. And then there's assets that are out there. So the battleship's never going to be able to find the sub to get the kill. Battleship's not going to ever be able to find the Gaide either. And that just ends up pointing out. How do you spec a destroyer captain? What destroyer? So hopefully that was useful. Andrimner, was that useful at all? Yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down? Good to get an outside perspective. Good. So hopefully we recognized a few things, because you're like, man, I want to get out of bronze. Well, yes, you're going to have players that are going to do weird stuff. It's just the truth. Bronze is going to have them, silver's going to have them, gold's going to have them. But it's going to be about what you are doing and what you can make happen. Not going to lie, the kill of the battleship was nice, but to get that, other teammates got sacrificed, and that's pretty rough. Worst case, if you have to, if you're a single destroyer in a situation like that, you might actually want to play safe in the mid so that you can get some more spotting, although it would have been nice if your CV had more information for you from the start. So unfortunately, yes, having the worst CV did put you on the back foot. But going off to a flank, being off on a side, means that you are now committed away from some of your teammates, and your teammates not having a DD can be rough. The other side of that they had, I think, had the Hwanghae sub, and their sub was playing like a destroyer, whereas your sub was playing like a sub. So unfortunately, they had an advantage off of that.